All right, Crystal. So we're going to be doing an interview. First of all, I just want to say congratulations. You actually fucking hit your goal for the fat loss contest for the 6-week challenge. So you literally crushed it. And I think where I want to start with this is go back to those first couple messages. Remember when we were talking about, okay, you had to lose a certain amount of weight.
Yeah.
You have 6 weeks and you weren't really too sure of yourself, right?
No, I mean, I was super pumped up in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because you were like so motivating. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this 6 weeks, let me get it together.
Yeah.
I didn't just think about like losing weight. I thought about, okay, it's gonna get me into this routine of actually eating good and tracking my food. Everything you've been telling me since the beginning that I really didn't do. And then I started doing it, and then probably like in the middle of the week, I kind of started losing it and kind of going back to my old ways of eating. And then I was like, okay, and then I didn't give you the money.
Yeah. You held on to the money for a while. I was like, Crystal, you gotta like give me the money for it.
Right, and I didn't. I was like, okay, so that means that maybe I'm not in the challenge, but let me still kind of continue. But then you're like, get that money to me. And then I eventually did, and I knew I had to get my shit together.
Yeah, because I know in the beginning it was like obviously you wanted to lose the weight. But part of you is like, you didn't believe, like, did you believe in yourself, or did you just have a fear of like, fuck, I don't want to fail? Like, you didn't fully believe that you could do it?
I think both, really. Like, probably like I told you, when I started going, like eating bad again, I was thinking I'm not gonna achieve this in 3 weeks.
Right.
There's no way. I'd only lost like 3 pounds, and I had to lose 6 more.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way I can do this in three weeks. So I was already having that negative mindset.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the fear of failing, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest reason I want to bring that up is because I think a lot of people struggle with that fear of failure. I know I do, for sure. When it's like a big, scary task that you have to accomplish.
Right.
And you want it, but you're like, I don't know if I can do it.
Right.
And it makes a lot of people just never go after things that they don't know 100% sure that they can accomplish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they have that fear of failing and not being able to do it. And you have that at the beginning of the challenge. You're like, I want this, but fuck, I've only lost 3 pounds and it's been 3 weeks. And I have to lose 6 more in another 3 weeks. There's no way that's going to happen. And at that time, you had like 2 options. You could have said, you know what? I can't lose 6 pounds in 3 weeks. I'm not going to do it. I don't even want to risk it. But the other option was, you know what? I fucking can do this. So I'm going to put the money on the line, knowing I could lose it all. I could lose everything. But I'm going to bet on myself and I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here today. You lost the freaking weight. You lost the weight. You won your money back. And like, do you feel proud of yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
For like proving to yourself that like, yo, when I actually go after the things that I'm afraid to do, I can be successful.
It was a big proving point for me. Because it was like that morning, and I was like, oh, please, and I got on and I was like, oh my gosh, like I swear last week I was 3 or 4 pounds more, and then I just lost all of this. Of course, like no carbs and everything, but yes, I was like, gosh, if I could do this, I can do anything.
And then you literally, the final weigh-in, remember you weighed yourself with your phone?
Oh my God.
I was like, God, she's like 0.4 over. And I'm like, I want to give her the money, but I also want to see if she'll like hold herself accountable to saying like, you know what, I didn't lose the exact amount I said I was going to. And then you're like, yo, bro, I was literally, I was holding my phone. Yeah, and then you weighed your phone, didn't you?
I did. Okay, wait, so hold on. So when I swear I thought I had told you 197 in the beginning, but then I was like, no, I said 196. So I was like, oh my God, was I really off by 0.4?
Yeah.
And then I was like, hold on. Let me weigh my phone because this thing is a freaking monster.
Yeah.
So when I put it on, I was at work, by the way.
I saw it over there. It's like an iPhone 12 or something like that?
13 Pro Max.
Yeah, those are fucking heavy.
Yeah. So then I was like, plus that, the case and everything. So then I was like devastated when I saw the message, and I was like, no way. I'm like, and I felt guilty. Like, I really thought, should I really get my money back or not? Like, trust me, I felt like crying.
Hell yeah.
And I go to my coworker and she's like, let's weigh your phone. And I was like, oh, okay.
Shout out to your coworker.
Yeah, and so when she weighed it, it was like 0.6 pounds, and I was like, I fucking did it.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Like, hold on, dude. Yes, I did make it.
Yeah, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I'm fucking stupid. Because it's funny, I sent that same text to another lady who was 0.2 away from her weight. And then I texted her, because I sent her the long message. I'm like, I could give you the money or you could take responsibility. I said the same thing I said to you, right? She didn't respond. Like I was like, oh, she's probably pissed or like upset. And then I messaged her. I was like, hey, did you weigh yourself with your phone? She's like, yes. And I'm like, weigh yourself again without it. And she was like half a pound more than like what her goal weight was. And then I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. So you guys won your stuff back. Note to self, don't have clients weigh themselves while holding their phone. I didn't think about it because I'm like, I need a picture of you standing on the scale. But at the same time, like, I forgot that it adds weight. And I was like,
I didn't even
I felt so stupid.
That. I was like, that's why I was so devastated. I was like 0.4 pounds. I'm like, shoot.
Yeah.
And I was, if it weren't for her brilliant idea, I would have been crying in the corner.
Shout out to your coworker for sure. So I wanted to show you something. Okay. And I wanted to get your take on it. So, for those who are watching this, we're going to be talking about mental health, mindset, depression, anxiety, and a lot of the things that we struggle with. So I think we should start this off by just going back to the beginning and going back to where we were, because the person you are today isn't who you were 4 months ago, 6 months ago, who you were last week. You're always evolving. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially since you've been on this journey of like self-improvement, working out, and you know more than everybody, it's not just physical. Like it's the shit that happens up here. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to find out. So tell me about the girl on the right. Where was she in life?
Definitely in the dumps. Probably every day overthinking that I'm not gonna get a nice body. A lot of crying days. Mm-hmm. I just, I was really low.
When was this? This was like 6 months ago? Was this a year ago?
I believe I took those pictures in June.
In June? Mm-hmm. Okay. So if we go even further back. Okay, so if we go back to here. When was this?
This was in January.
January of this year?
Of this year.
This is January of 2022?
2022.
Holy shit. Okay, so paint a picture for me. So what was going on in your life? Were you single? Were you in a relationship? Were you...
At that time, I was in a relationship.
Okay.
And I was in Hawaii.
Okay.
And I remember that I actually hadn't taken so many photos of myself.
How come?
Because... Well, in general, we didn't really travel out because of the pandemic, mm-hmm. and I just, didn't really feel motivated to take pictures of myself. I didn't go out and get ready. But since we had taken a trip, I told my mom, hey, take a picture of me, we're in freaking Hawaii. Yeah. And then when I saw the pictures, I was like, oh my God, I cannot post this. There's no way I can post this looking like that. And I think it was like a sudden hit of realization that it's like, I'm freaking fat. And it was just a very hard time for me. And it got to the point where like, I need to do something about it. Mm-hmm. The funny thing is like, I had already known about you mm-hmm. because I had already started seeing your things since like last year, probably like November 2021.
On Instagram, social media?
On Facebook.
Okay.
So, because my mom has a couple of friends that would go to your boot camp.
Yeah.
And my mom was the one like, oh, check this guy out. Like, he's local. And I saw, everyone working out, and it was, it was overwhelming because I was thinking, there's no way I can do that. Like, I don't lift. I don't do any, when I used to go to the gym, and we're talking about like when I first started college. Yeah. Because I had a gym membership in the city. I would just do cardio and stuff like that.
How come?
I didn't know what I was doing. I thought that was the only way to lose weight. Just get on the treadmill and, just do random exercises. There was just no discipline whatsoever. Yeah. No knowledge of what to do.
Did you have a fear? So did you have a fear of going to a public gym and working out in front of people?
Yes.
How come?
I think it's because that fear of judgment, that people are going to, see what you're doing, and then you're like, oh, I'm doing this wrong.
Yeah.
Not only that, but sometimes seeing other girls that are actually fit.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. It's just, I think I'm an overthinker.
Yeah.
So it's like just fear of being watched all the time.
Yeah. Like fear of being judged, that you're like not good enough, that you're out of shape, that you don't know what you're doing when it comes to the weights, which it's so crazy, right? Because it's like, if you've never worked out before, you put this pressure on yourself to like, you should be able to go into a gym and know everything, know how to work out like someone who's been doing it for 5 years. When in reality, it's like a lot of it is just in our own heads, Right. Really, you go into a gym, people aren't staring at you. Most of them are like in their own bubble. They might glance over to see who's working out, but they got their headphones in. They're stressing themselves. They got their own workout going on, but we put that pressure on ourselves. Right. So you feel like a big part of like why you went to the gym and just did cardio was because like you just didn't really know what to do?
Yeah, I think it was just the only thing that I knew to do, and there wasn't that pressure of that I'm putting on myself. If I go pick up these weights, now what do I do with them?
Right.
Instead of just doing bicep curls or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just stuck to that, and that was pretty much my gym schedule.
Yeah. So how did that lead into like eventually reaching out for boot camp? Because obviously like the first video you saw of mine, you didn't just like instantly message me to like start working out. So like how did that process go from like first seeing my videos, what was going on with your workouts, and then what made you finally like reach out? Was it a certain video? Did something happen in life that made you reach out? Tell me about it.
Probably around September of last year, when I was in it kind of ties into my relationship. I noticed that him and I were distant, and I'm all about communication. I just really want to know what's going on. And I think I finally built the courage. I'm like, hey, like, notice that you've been distant, like what's going on? And I knew that he was hesitant and he didn't really want to say anything. So my instant thought was that he was seeing someone else.
Like he cheated or something.
That was my first instant gut feeling. But he finally said, well, it's because you're overweight. You've gotten overweight, and your arms are big, your legs are big.
Said that straight to you.
Yeah, but he kind of was tying it like, I also gain weight too, and just kind of.
He tried to tell you without like being mean about it.
And then he was like, but I still love you, and I was like, it didn't matter at that moment. It just the fact that your significant partner said that to you, it was so heartbreaking. And it shattered me.
You'll never forget that.
No. And in a way, I think in that moment, it was just, I got like super depressed. Like that was when it finally hit, like, okay. Yeah. And then, but I didn't use it as motivation or anything at that time. Right. And then, but every time that I would see him, there was these thoughts that, okay, now he's seeing me as this fat girl, this overweight girl. Yeah. And then it was just never the same anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean, if someone says that to you, how can it ever be the same after that? It's like you just put this gigantic fucking wedge in the relationship where it's like at one point you guys are close, and now it's like every time you see him, you just think he views you as like this fat blob. Yeah. He doesn't view you as like someone who's like desirable, like.
Exactly.
And he told you that to your face too. So it's like, like instantly you're going to have that, like just feel awful. Like somebody that you value their opinion so much. I mean, he was your boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
Like, how long were you guys together?
We had been together for about 4.5 years.
4.5 years.
Yeah. Well, we met when he was in middle school and I was a high schooler. So
gotcha.
We've known each other for about 9 years already.
Grew up together.
So, yeah. So then finally in college we got into a serious relationship, and it was the most we had ever lasted. Yeah. So that's why, and it hurts so much just to be in this committed relationship and then all of a sudden hearing that. Yeah. So it just turned my world around, really. So
let's go back to like your mindset that day, like in that moment. He told you this, like not even looking back on it. Like let's go back to like trying to be in that moment, okay? So he tells you, so you're starting to feel that he's distant. Like how do you tell? How can you tell that he was starting to become distant to you? What are some things that you noticed?
he wasn't being as loving anymore. So usually there would be this excitement of seeing me, because that's the thing that we didn't, since I had graduated college first and he was still in school, I noticed that we didn't see each other as much. It became like a once a week thing. So it used to be this excitement of him seeing me, and then just felt like over the weeks it would decrease and more, and I started noticing that, and I think we were arguing a little more, and then also he's a really serious guy, so you know, sometimes there'll be, you know, laughter in the beginning when we first see each other and get in the car, and it was just dry, and it's like I knew something was wrong, and I didn't want to ask because I just didn't want to open a can of worms. Yeah. But that's how I felt. That's what I started noticing, and it turned out to be something.
Yeah. So when you had that conversation, you finally confronted him about it. You asked him what's going on. You're thinking that like he's cheating on you or something like that. And then he tells you that he's losing attraction for you. Mm-hmm. And it's because you've like gained weight. Your arms got bigger, all these things like, and you said in that moment it really affected you. Did you instantly say like, fuck you, I'm out of here? Like, and just break up with him right there?
No, which I got suggested to do that by my mom. Like, you should have just left right there and there. Yeah. But no, I didn't want to leave because maybe he's all I've known. So I didn't want to
that fear of something new.
Relationship over that. And I don't think I understood how big of a deal it was. Yeah. For a guy to tell you that, or for someone in a relationship to tell you that. So I thought, okay, well, this is just like
normal, like
a bump in the road, you know?
Right. Not realizing that's like a big fucking thing. Yeah. So was this guy like your first like serious relationship? Okay. Yeah. No, I can definitely relate to that because I know there's a lot of things that happened in my first serious relationship that I would never tolerate now. But back then, that's all you know. And you've built you've spent so many years of your life with that person, built that familiarity and, you know, that comfort that even when they start treating you bad or you start getting those red flags to leave, it can be really hard because you're like, what the fuck, I'm going to start over? Mm-hmm. You know, you almost forget what it's like to be single, what it's like to be just Crystal, not Crystal and whoever, you know, because you guys become like one, like people, they see you, they see him, they see him, they see you, you guys are one. Mm-hmm. And then so your parents, friends were like advising you to leave him and telling you like no, like a man shouldn't say this to you.
Well, what happened was that during that time that it all happened, no one knew what I was going through. Yeah. So I kept it to myself for months. So I just didn't want anyone to know because I knew what their reaction was going to be, because I had already been advised that I shouldn't go out with him since ever. So gotcha. I've always had this doubt, no, he's different. It's because you guys don't know him. Right. But they've always said, oh, you're in this relationship that he's going to control you. And I never wanted to see it. Yeah. Or all these red flags. So when I finally I didn't. He broke up with me. Yeah. Probably like some days later, I started venting everything that has happened in the relationship and all the negatives.
Like talking to your family about it?
Yeah. Like I finally opened up to my mom, my dad, and my mom's sisters because they're my immediate family, so we're super close.
And they were like, you just need to leave his ass?
Yeah, they're like, Crystal, why didn't you leave him before? Like there were so many red flags from the beginning. Why didn't you?
What are some of those red flags? Because I heard you bring up like he was like manipulator, controlling and stuff like that. Like what are some of the things that you noticed? Because I know a lot of people can define those differently, but what are some of the things that stick out to you now looking back?
I think
red flags.
Well, some things that I noticed were, I think every time we'd call each other. Mm-hmm. And when I was talking to him, I just felt like he wasn't there. Like there was no communication, as in, how do I say this? Like no.
Like he wasn't present.
Like he was there, but he wasn't present. Yeah. So I'm super excited to talk to him, and then he'd be like, just
disconnected, emotionless.
And I'm like, hey, are you even listening? And he's like, yeah, I'm listening. I'm like, okay, then repeat to me what I said. And he would repeat everything I would be saying. So I knew he was listening, but it's like, why don't you just make the effort of making me feel like I'm heard? Yeah. And so that was one thing. And then it's kind of silly, but when I was in high school, I remember he told me, don't wear makeup because you look pretty without it. And I was like, yeah, but it's something I like to do, you know? It was like the simplest thing. And then he told me, if you wear makeup, I'm not gonna talk to you the next day. I was like, oh, that's a joke. Like, who would do that, you know?
Yeah, you're like, this guy's not serious. He's just messing with me.
Right, so I wore
dead serious
mascara the next day. And he took one look at me in the morning and just took off, like walked away. And people, and I still remember like to this day exactly the scene. There was people coming out of the cafeteria and they were like, what the heck? And I chased him like a puppy. You know, he was mad at me for that whole day and then texted me, I think, till like the next day.
Yeah.
And says, are you going to wear makeup again? And then I literally didn't wear makeup.
Damn. So you literally didn't wear makeup because you wanted to avoid confrontation, having him unhappy with you.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of things that I did to avoid, because then over the years, I kind of saw how he was, and I started to agree with a lot of things that he would say, just because, once again, I just wanted to avoid that confrontation.
Didn't want to start a problem.
Because I think the minute you would disagree with him, it would be kind of like he would get angry about it. He never, there was like no physical abuse or anything, but it was just, I think that
psychological.
And I don't think he would know that he would do it. And so, you know, but I was agreeing to mainly everything he would say and just learning the way to talk to him so he wouldn't get riled up.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to imagine being you, like in your shoes that day when you're feeling this distance, it's building up, like, you know, you guys need to have a conversation to figure out what the fuck is going on, and then it comes to that. Mm-hmm. So in your brain, were you like, let me just lose a bunch of weight so I can make him happy, or like, what was your thought process after that? Like, did it hurt your self-esteem? Did it affect you emotionally at all?
Oh, yeah, I mean,
tell me about that.
Gosh, there were nights I would cry. Well, actually, like every night from that night, I think I would cry in my bed. Yeah. But that, once again, because there was no one to vent to, so it's like something I had to deal with, you know, myself. And like I said, I think in that moment, I still didn't think about boot camp because I hadn't come across your program yet.
Right.
But I did think, okay, maybe I need to go more on walks and like get on a diet and just eat salad. So
you started actually like trying to do things to fix it so there wouldn't be a problem anymore. And hopefully you would like win back his attraction for you and his desire.
Right. So it really came down to all those things, that mentality of just doing certain things. But then kind of school got in the way. And I probably say that as an excuse, but I was literally staying up till probably 2 a.m. doing homework. I don't know if professors thought, oh, it's a pandemic, let's just assign them a bunch of stuff. And so my mom would be like, come on, let's go on a walk. And I was like, I can't, I'm doing homework.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, there goes my, activity. And then I kind of got into overeating. Even when I'm not hungry, I would just kind of go in the kitchen and grab whatever junk we had. And keep doing that constantly. Yeah.
So did you feel like you would overeat to like, so you know some people when they're sad they overeat, or some people are sad they undereat, or when they're stressed, like what do you think that you were, like do you feel like you were trying to cover up some sort of like, or mask some sort of emotions or feelings by eating more food?
I think so.
Like it was comfort.
It was comfort, because I think it was just the anxiety of going through that in the relationship in school, and just not being able to go out or see him, and so that all took place, and I was like, I would turn to food for that comfort.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's very common, and I'm sure a lot of the ladies watching this, I'm sure they're like as soon as he said that to you, like, girl, like I would have left him right then and there. But I think, I guess that leads into my next question is, why did you tolerate it? Did you not feel like that you deserved better? Or that he was the best that you could get at the time, that nobody else would want you?
I think so. I think I was just afraid of leaving the relationship because I had invested so many years and I didn't want to leave all that behind. But I'm also such a nice girl. So it's like really hard for me, and I think, okay, I can't do such thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, well, if he doesn't find me attractive, then who will find me attractive?
Fuck.
So
such a fucked up mindset, man. Damn. But you don't feel like you're the hottest girl. Your boyfriend's telling you that he's losing attraction for you. Mm-hmm. It's almost that fear of like, well, fuck, like if we break up, who else is going to find me attractive?
Yeah.
Because like deep down, you probably like, did you not feel that you were deserving of like a great man and that like you would be desired by a bunch of other guys?
I think I've always had that mentality that I'm not going to find someone else that's good enough or,
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like social media has really portrayed men a certain way.
What do you mean?
Like just players and, they just want to have a good time. And I know there's good men that exist. It's just that, I don't know, like I have that fear of getting involved with someone else and then the same thing happening to me where they're going to, end it with me.
Yeah.
And for certain reasons, or they're going to go, like, I think my fear is cheating, like just they're going to cheat on me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I am naive.
Yeah. Have you ever been cheated on before?
Not that I know of. He claims he hasn't, but
sometimes you never know.
I don't know. Sometimes it's like a gut feeling that there's been something. I don't think maybe cheated, but I want to say he probably would communicate with other girls behind my back.
Yeah.
Because I think the week before we broke up, he told me, I'm going to go out with my friend to go shoe shopping. And I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And then I think sometime after the breakup, I found out that he actually went with a girl to the mall. He said that's all he did. But, it's like, am I stupid enough to believe the same thing? And, or did he really do something else? So that's why I don't know if...
The first relationships, man, like, I feel like everybody tolerates way more than they would in a future relationship, because you don't have a benchmark for what is a normal relationship. Like, what is good, what's bad, like, what's a healthy amount of fighting? When is it verbal abuse? When is it psychological abuse? Like, and when is it just keeping it real with you? There's these lines that you have to figure out for what you're willing to tolerate, and knowing if it's coming from a loving place or from a partner who doesn't respect or isn't attracted to you anymore.
Yeah.
I think for me, my first so how old were you when you guys started dating? You said middle school?
Yeah, so I was probably like 15 years old when...
Like 15? Mm-hmm. Yeah. My first relationship, I was like 13, from like 13 to 15.
Oh, wow.
And it was with a girl not much, but like she was like 3 years older than me.
Oh, okay.
So I was like a freshman, she was a senior in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was so fucking toxic because it's like we would fight all the time. And I'm thinking this is normal. Like, couples argue. Every day was an argument about something. It was insane. It was very controlling of like, she would want to go through my phone. And I'd be like, well, if you go through my phone, I'm going to go through your phone. And it's like this toxic, this shitty like framework and foundation for a relationship. Like, from the get-go, you got two insecure people who don't trust each other, and then you're going through each other's phones, and you already know if you're looking for a problem, you're gonna find one.
Right.
Even if it's nothing, you can find a problem if you look hard enough for it.
Yeah.
Something that you could cause an issue about. And it was so toxic, and it would be a lot of like name calling, a lot of like putting each other down when you're angry. Like, did you ever have that happen in your relationship? Like when you guys would argue, any name calling or like condescending, like anything like that?
No, but I know when I sometimes got mad, I kind of did it myself. Like those phone conversations, I would sometimes say a bad word to him.
Yeah.
Like twice that would happen, and I'm usually not like that, but I was just so frustrated, and I did apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry, like I shouldn't be talking to you that way.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's go all the way back. Like, let's backtrack, rewind all the way till like the beginning, because when it comes to mental health, I think it's not talked about enough.
Right.
And when it is, it's usually from people who seem like they don't have any issues themselves. And I've been very transparent that I struggle with a lot of mental health issues, you know, especially in my entire life. And we've had conversations behind the scenes about things that you struggle with as well. So I just wanted to talk more about, you know, how that originated. Like who was Crystal in elementary school? And then where did we get to middle school, high school, college, to where we are now? Like, were you outgoing? Were you introverted? Did you have lots of friends? Were you more shy? Tell me all about it. Like, where did self-esteem issues come in? Where did comparing yourself to other people, where did all these things start?
So I want to say, well, it definitely started in elementary school. So I come from a really good family environment and very positive environment. So when I went to school, I had like this innocent and naive mind. And then, you know, kindergarten through first grade, it's like, you know, you play with whomever.
Yeah.
And then second grade came upon, and then there was these group of girls that I just wanted to fit in. And since it's such a small school,
Yeah.
it's really like the only Hispanic group of girls there is.
Yeah.
And then there was like a ringleader, and that girl would determine if you're
cool enough to hang out with us.
Yes. Yeah. To join in or not. And some days it would be, okay, you can hang out with us. Yeah. And the other days, sorry, you can't hang out with us. And you know, if she said, you're not cool enough, then the girls would be like, you're not cool enough.
Right. Like what she said goes. She was like the queen bee.
Exactly. So I think right there and there, I thought, I'm not going to have any friends in school. Like, this is just hard enough for me. And I've always struggled with it. And then they would be that type of girls that would wear sweaters in 90-degree weather, then I would do it too.
You were like trying to do what they did.
Yes.
To try to fit in more. Mm-hmm. Why is that? Why do we go out of our way to try to fit in? You know, like why do we do things that maybe we wouldn't have done otherwise to try to get the approval and the validation of others? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I just think that
is it something we're just born with? Like everybody has that just inherent need to fit in and be liked and be, you know, respected and be part of a group?
I think in general, like when you start school, there's this pressure that you need to be hanging out with people. That you have to be surrounded yourself with people. And if you're not, you're considered a loner.
Right.
Or like the outcast.
Right.
You know?
The weirdos, yeah.
So, you know, it was hard enough for me. I honestly got along with guys better than girls. I mean, they've always been so cool. There's less drama in that. So, but it was just weird because I was the only girl, you know? So, and sometimes it'd be like, oh, we don't want to hang out because you're a girl. You know, you can't talk about certain things. So it's like, dude, just whatever. So, you know, it came down to me, you know, hanging out again with those girls. And then I think until 6th grade, they started some rumors about me, about that I was trying to get at one of their boyfriends. I mean, little kid drama. Yeah. And it wasn't even true because he was like my best friend. So it was like, no, like, I have nothing with this guy.
A high school, middle school, the schoolyard drama.
Yes. And
we love that.
Ridiculous. So because of those rumors, and they happened like the last week of school before summer vacation, before going on to middle school. Yeah. My anxiety started. That's where I think my real life anxiety happened.
Really? All the way back then?
Because I was thinking in my head already, I'm going to start a new school with no friends at all. Gotcha. Because of those rumors. Because it was like, no one talked to me, nothing.
So you were like a little kid already worrying about like what the future was going to hold.
Oh, yeah.
And that's exactly what anxiety is, right? It's like worrying about things that aren't even necessarily happening.
Yeah.
It's like just overthinking and getting in your head about stuff.
Right.
And it fucking cripples you.
So you can imagine how I was already feeling.
Yeah.
And my mom decided to get me involved in soccer for the Clarksburg team.
Yeah. Delta.
Yeah.
Rio versus Delta.
So in that moment, I told my mom, you're crazy. I don't want to do soccer. Like, first of all, like, I'm not even good at soccer.
Yeah.
she's like, no, you're going to do it because you're going to meet new people, and these are going to be people that you're going to see in middle school. So just do it.
Get out there, socialize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have, there's no option here. I signed you up already. And I was like, what the heck, So then I remember I went to my first soccer meet, and I, of course, the anxiety of just being surrounded by people, new girls. But then I met new people, and so when I actually went into middle school, because the first thing I thought, who am I going to sit with at lunchtime? Yeah. That was my first fear. And I sat down with some of the soccer girls that actually looked at me and they're like, "Come here, Crystal."
Yeah, you start feeling like accepted, like you're part of like a little squad.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. I mean, they were all white girls, so it was kind of, I know, it was just a little hard for me because it's different,
Yeah.
And so I think 7th grade, it was, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And I think I was just kind of like discovering myself, who I was. And I started meeting people because I started to become the class clown.
Yeah. Why do we do that? Because I was a class clown too.
I don't know, why did you do it?
And we weren't even funny. It's like, I did it because I was like, you know what? I just want, like, nobody pays attention to me. So I'm going to find a way to get attention and to get people to look at me. And, because like when I was younger, I wasn't the cool kid at all. Like our stories are very similar. I see the similarities in it where it's like, I was kind of the kid that sat in the back of the classroom drawing like Yu-Gi-Oh and Dragon Ball Z, stuff like that. I didn't have a bunch of friends. And a lot of it stemmed from because my mom, like we were very poor and my mom would like get evicted a lot. So we were moving from like apartment to apartment to hotel to hotel. So I went to like 8 different elementary schools. Oh, wow. So every time I would like settle down and like make a new friend, I'd be off to the next one, So I never had like real friends that like grew up. People talk about childhood friends. I don't even know what that is, But when I settled here in Rio Vista, I moved here and I was here for a while and I was at the Ileton Elementary School.
Oh, okay.
And I also went to Riverview too, but I wasn't the cool kid. I hung out with the kids that were the loners and I didn't play sports, none of that stuff. But I was getting to that age where like, I wanted friends. I wanted girls to notice me. I wanted to be the cool kid. I wanted these things, but I didn't know how to get it. And I was like, well, shit, if I just fucking start fucking around in class, people will notice me. And they did, And it's like, it reinforces that negative behavior because you're getting the attention that you wanted. You're getting noticed, but it might not be, a positive way. Mm-hmm. Is that why you became a class clown too?
Yeah, I wanted to get noticed, definitely, because I've always, not that I'm trying to be cocky or anything, but I've always had that funny side to me. Mm-hmm. So
that's so funny. You think that's cocky? I must be so arrogant compared to you. That's crazy. Anyways, go ahead. So
I just wanted to show people that I had humor, because that's the thing that usually I think class clowns are associated with, people that are not that smart.
Yeah.
Like they do it because they're trying to show that they're,
like compensating for not being intelligent.
Right.
So they goof around.
And that was not the case. For me, I was that straight A student. So people knew that I was smart because I would always participate in class and like be boom, 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 answering all the questions. But at the same time, it's like I was this class clown. So I even got voted as class clown of the year for 8th grade. So when that happened in 8th grade, then all of these people just started talking to me and like, Crystal this, Crystal that. And then of course I felt hella good, and then it was just like probably one of the best years. Yeah. And then freshman year, still play soccer. And I think it was really with sports because when you join sports, then you become like the school's face,
Yeah. You're definitely ingrained in like the whole culture.
Right. And so then sophomore year, hold on, let's backtrack because I want to talk about my weight.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah. My freshman year, because my middle school years, I was, like that chubby kind of girl. And then freshman year, I hit 160 as my weight. So it was the biggest I had been. And I think I have some pictures that I took in Mexico when I went for spring break with my parents. And I was like, holy moly, like I need to do something about this. And so fast forward to sophomore year, I joined volleyball, and that was intense, the intense training.
Oh yeah.
I lost 20 pounds in 3 months.
Did you notice a difference in how people treated you? Guys, like the attention from guys and girls? Did you notice it was different based on if you were 160 or when you were 140?
So I didn't notice a difference myself. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Until some girl started approaching me, and especially in the bathroom. She was like, Crystal, you look so skinny. And I was like, no way. And so I kind of was like looking down at myself. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then when I started taking pictures, because once again, I'm not really like a picture girl. I was like, oh my God, I did lose so much weight. Some other girls said I had a flat stomach.
Yeah.
You know?
It felt good, huh?
It felt hella good. And definitely guys, I remember one guy telling me, girl, you got ass.
That is the best compliment, isn't it? You just feel so good.
You know, maybe because I'm not used to those comments, I was like...
You like objectified me. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Right?
You're like, treat me with respect, but you could tell me I'm hot. That's fine.
I don't think I ever told my mom that. Yeah. Don't look at this, Mom.
No, I mean, I feel like we all have that inherent, like we have that desire to want to be desired, you know?
Right.
And when it gets confirmed by getting compliments or things like that, it feels good.
It does.
Like nobody wants to be that person in the back of the class that nobody notices.
Yeah.
You know? Like nobody wants to be that kid at school or that girl at work or the guy at the gym. Nobody even freaking notices. If you were there or weren't there, nobody even noticed. You want to be that person that when you walk in, people are like, that's fucking Crystal. Mm-hmm. Like, oh shit, that's Crystal? Not like, oh, that's Crystal. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. It's like we all want to be liked. We all want to be respected. We all want to be desired. Mm-hmm. You know? And I think that really drives a lot of the things that we go for in life. Okay. You know? Like, let's be real. We probably wouldn't work out if it wasn't for all the other positive effects that come from it. Mm-hmm. You know, guys work out to hopefully get attraction from the girls. Mm-hmm. The girls work out so they can stay fit for the guys and for their mental health and their confidence. All those things, mm-hmm. You know? So after you lost the weight, you started getting those compliments, started feeling good. And did you stay like fit for the rest of high school or what?
So I did because sophomore and junior year, I continued with volleyball.
Yeah.
So, you know, just being super active. Plus we have PE and stuff. So that's another thing. And then senior year, I did cheerleading.
Yeah.
So that's where we started doing some of weights and stuff because I was I forgot the terminology already.
A base?
Yes, I was a base.
How did I know that? A base, there we go. Okay, so you were the one that had to like hold people up?
Yes.
Gotcha,
so I was a base and so that was something different. So I think I got a little more, that's where I got more muscular because when I was doing volleyball, my arms just got super skinny. Yeah. Like I look like.
That's what happened when you just run up and down the court?
It was just really just sit-ups, push-ups, like all of these things. And then running up the levees and there were some girls throwing up and stuff. It was like crazy how intense it was.
So after high school,
you
get to college. Mm-hmm. And you stayed super fit and got even more fit and you just like went on happily ever after or like what happened?
Well, if that were the case, I would not be here. No, quite opposite. That's where I gained all this weight. So freshman year of college, oh God, I hope I got the scholarship. And a lot of that money went to Panda Express. No
fucking way. Panda is fire. I could see how that can happen.
And because, you know, all this money got into my bank account and I had to barely open my debit cards.
Benefits of the straight A student.
Oh, yeah. I think, well, yes and no, because I gained all this weight. But
yeah, then you're like, fuck.
But I went to school every day because I lived in Elk Grove, so 30 minutes away. And so I was like, okay, I could just have my schedule every single day. And it came to the point where I would be like, okay, let me just get some Panda here. Yeah. Instead of like, you know, taking lunch myself, I was like, it was just so much easier to swipe a card and get lunch there. And so probably within that 1 year, I started noticing that like I had rolls back here. I've had like upper rolls, but the lower part.
The lonjas.
The lonjas, yes. Yes. I wanted to say that word.
I've learned the term,
yeah. So I was like, lonjas. I was like, shit. I was like, this wasn't here before. And then my arms, like just when I would put my clothing on, I would feel the tightness all around. I was like, oh crap.
Yeah, I remember you told me you went from like a medium to like an
extra large. Yeah.
And that, I know that probably fucking sucks, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Like, especially when you're like getting dressed and you're shopping for clothes and you're like, fuck, this doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Or like my old clothes don't fit anymore.
Mm-hmm. So I got to the point where I would just put them in the like way corner of the closet, like the untouched corner.
Yeah.
And so it came down to shopping for new clothes that fit me. Yeah. You know, made to fit me. Yeah. Instead of, you know, the opposite, trying to fit into your old clothes.
Did you start getting to a point where like you would see like other people on campus, like other girls that were more fit, and you would start like, because I know a big struggle that all of us have, especially with social media, but in real life too, is just comparing ourselves to others.
Oh yeah.
You know, comparing our bodies. So like, what was your experience with that? When did that start?
That freshman year, you know, just walking from class to class, you know, you just see these girls that have like crop tops on and, you know, like the perfect like stomach, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're fit, you know, it could be that genetics and stuff, but it was just seeing that, it was like, I want to be like that, you know, but I didn't take action. I didn't do anything about it. You know, I still continued to eat bad. Yeah. And there's the gym there, like, you know, it's free access. I mean, shoot, we're paying it with our tuition. And I didn't really take advantage. And freshman year, I was single. So it was just me doing my own thing. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So when you used to hang out with your friends, like, were you one of the more fit girls in the group, or were you like the not fit girl in the group? Because you know how like whenever there's like a group of girls, there's always like the queen bee, there's like the fit girls, the non-fit girls. Like, where would you rank yourself in your friend groups?
I think like in high school.
High school, college, because I was talking to my girlfriend and she was telling me about how it really bothered her that she felt like all of her friends were prettier than her. Oh. Like she would feel like she was like the duff, you know what that is?
The designated ugly?
The designated ugly fat friend? Yeah, like she felt like she was that. So did you have any sort of feeling of that, or not really? Did you not hang out with a lot of people like that?
A freshman year of high school, I consider myself the duff.
You consider yourself the duff?
For sure. Because, you know, and then as I started progressing, I think I was just, I don't know, I guess I've never really come across my mind. Yeah. Mainly because maybe I hung out with one girl who was my best friend, and she's super popular. Right. So, you know, I don't think I ever saw myself as competition or, you know, like, oh, you know, she looks better. You know, I never saw that. Okay. But I think, that freshman year, because, you know, I had like more of a bigger, not like. More
social circle, like more people in the group. Just knew more people,
I definitely felt like, you know, the guys would pay more attention to those girls than me.
And did that fuck with you a little bit?
Yes and no, because I think I didn't really care about like dating.
Okay, so at the time you weren't even in that headspace.
Not really, because my parents my whole family were kind of like, you start dating after college. Yeah. So it was kind of like, I have crushes, but I didn't really want to pursue a relationship. Yeah. So that's what's like, oh, whatever, you know. But it kind of gets to you regardless, because you're like, I want to be that girl being noticed, you know, or you're having that attention. Yeah. But I didn't. I was like, I didn't really pursue any guy. I think they came more to me. Yeah. And then I would just act like whatever about it. Yeah.
So, because I was talking to my girl about this, because she kind of was dealing with something similar, and I asked her, I'm like, so, because as a coach, you know, I'm always like, fucking. If you feel like shit, start doing something about it. Start working out. So for you, it's like you're in this position where you gained weight after high school. You're not fitting into the clothes you used to. You went from a medium to an XL. And at that time, like, you didn't have that like burning desire, like, I'm gonna fucking self-improve and go on this journey and work out. Like, you weren't there yet?
No. I think The only reason I would go to the gym was now when I was in a relationship.
Yeah.
And he wanted to work out, but I think I geared him towards like playing basketball.
Yeah.
And like doing other things in the gym versus like focusing. Because that's the thing that when I did try to work out with him, he gave me like a 20-pound bar. And I started doing exercises, and then the next day I had like a big, like, how do you say, I got so swollen here, and I couldn't move.
Yeah, and your bicep? Yeah, that's crazy.
And I was like, you're fired as a trainer. I'm not doing this ever again. So I was like literally going to school like this.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. Why don't we try something else?
Yeah.
So, I geared away from that. And then, but it wasn't like, no workout. So I didn't have that yet because, I think feeling
focused on other things.
And the thing is that we would go out all the time. Like even during school time, we would go out and eat. Yeah. And I would sometimes be the one encouraging it, like, oh, I want Mongolian, let's go here and here. And, he would be like, maybe we should save money. And I was like, no, I got it. So we would go, and then I started gaining even more weight.
Yeah.
And so, because, I was happy and he didn't say anything, I didn't feel the need to be working out.
Gotcha. So at this time, you were gaining weight, but it wasn't affecting you yet. It wasn't like making you depressed that like, fuck, I'm fat, I'm not attractive, I hate the way my body looks. You weren't there yet. You were just getting to that point.
Right. Because
got you. Okay.
He was still complimenting me.
Right.
Like, oh, you look amazing. And I'm thinking, okay, if I look amazing, I don't think I have anything to do. Like, I'm just normal.
Yeah, you're like, if he's telling me I'm hot, I guess I'm fine. I don't need to be hitting the gym and doing all this.
Yeah.
So where was rock bottom for you, where you were like, I need to fucking do something about this?
So it was in Hawaii when I went through my camera roll, and I saw those pictures, and I was like, I reached my final breaking point.
Yeah.
Because I already had known I wasn't doing well with the relationship, but now I got to the point where it's like, okay, now I'm vividly seeing it in these photos.
Yeah.
So what can I do about this?
Right.
Like, I had already been telling him, oh, I'm going to join Darian, because I had already mentioned your boot camp to him.
Yeah.
But I think it was just me being scared of reaching out to you too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I was like, oh God, like the minute I say something, I'm gonna have to commit. So that's different. I don't know who you are. So
I'm just some fucking stranger on the internet.
Right, but I was pretty creeped out, but I was like stalking you on Facebook, and then I'm like, okay, I like the way he talks to, about things and explains things. So he seems pretty legit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like, that fear of like going in here, and there's so many people like looking, super ripped and like.
It goes back to that same thing we talked about earlier, where it's like, here we go, you're gonna reach out and then be in a situation where you're around a bunch of people. Some of them are really fit. They all look like they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And then there's you.
Who's like a newbie, yeah.
Who's at your lowest. You don't feel good about your body. Mm-hmm. You don't feel very confident yet. And you don't know how to work out.
Right.
So it's definitely, there's a lot of stuff that can hold a lot of women back from reaching out.
Mm-hmm. And my mom even told me, I'll do it with you. So I was like, that made me feel better because, I'm doing it with somebody.
Yeah.
So then you had your $21 promotion,
mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this sounds pretty awesome. Should I do it? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it. Just gonna risk it out there. And then I remember contacting you, and I'm thinking, I think it was a Wednesday when I contacted you. I still remember this. And then you were like, okay, we'll see you tomorrow. And I'm like, what?
You're like, oh shit, we're doing this. Like, we're fucking doing this.
You had already started your week.
Yeah.
So I remember I was like, hey, are you still taking in people? And you're like, oh, it's getting pretty full, Yeah. And I was like, okay, so we'll do the 6:30 one. And then I'm thinking, okay, he's probably gonna have a start on Monday, like new fresh
a few
start.
days to like mentally prep, get ready. No, it's like, I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. And I was like,
fuck.
Oh, shoot. I'm like, I told my mom I should have never contacted him today.
You were probably so nervous, huh? That first day?
I was nervous, like
didn't know what to expect.
No time to mentally prep, like you said. And I was like, should I be like, oh, I can't make it tomorrow, Yeah. I was like, no.
You're thinking of an excuse?
Yes, I was like, I got word, you know, just the whole enchilada. And then next day came, I was at work blabbing, like just how much anxiety I had. I was like, oh my God, I have boot camp today. And they're like, yes, Crystal, we know. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
They're like, we've heard this already.
Yes, like the whole day I was like, my hands were shaking, everything was shaking. And then finally get to here, and I told my mom, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And she's like, you're fine, just, honey, I'm with you. Yeah. And then I come in here, and you're like, what up, Crystal? And I was like, what? Like, whoa. I was like, you know, just different interaction, you know, and just like I said, the minute I walked in, I just felt so like I've been coming here for months.
Yeah, you felt like that rapport was already there.
Right. So that was pretty awesome of your part. So then
that's cool.
I saw so many people, like it was just so packed. I was like, oh, there's no way anyone's gonna pay attention. Like just do what you gotta do. But you also have this, how do you say it, like thing where you're seeing a bunch of people work out, so you feel like you have to give it your 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I gave it my 100%.
Yeah.
And I was dying.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I was dying.
I warn everyone, their first week, I'm like, listen, whatever level you think you can go at, go at like 50%. Because you're naturally going to be like nervous and you're going to be trying to push and keep up with everybody else. Mm-hmm. And you'll completely overdo it. You'll be dying. So, yeah. So how did so when did it start to really click for you? Like, when did things start changing for you? Like, when did you start going from the Crystal before boot camp to more of where you are now, where you don't make excuses, you fucking take accountability, like you just think so much different now than you did before?
This April, probably 2 months after boot camp, the breakup happens. 2 months after boot camp.
Oh shit.
The breakup happens, and I'm devastated. I don't even feel like working out. I don't feel like doing anything.
For sure.
And
like the depression started?
Depression really, I think I've always had it. I just think it, boom, like hit me right there and there. Yeah. And then I would go to work out, and I think it was just, I would still think about it. You know, it felt a little good for an hour, but then after it would just sink in again. Yeah. My whole demeanor changed. And then...
What does depression feel like for you?
It feels like no matter what you do, there's just no happiness. Like, I have this smile on my face, but behind it's like, I just don't feel like doing anything. Like, I got so lazy at home. Like, no chores, and my mom was getting me in trouble for it. Yeah. And getting frustrated at everyone. Like, all my loved ones, like, I would just kind of let it out on them. Yeah. I just wanted to go to my room and, like, lay down. And sorry.
No, you're good. Take your time.
It was just really hard. I think the majority was just not wanting to do anything. Yeah. And then it was like this longing feeling of wanting to feel happiness somewhere, and I couldn't. Yeah. And so...
It's like cancer for the soul.
Oh, yeah. And it's really hard because I didn't want to go like that to work, and I was crying at work. That's the thing, that there would be days that I would have to go to the bathroom and like my tears were just coming out. Yeah. Now I had to like just calm down a bit, and I think even someone said, "Hey, Crystal, are you okay?" And I'm like, because I literally took like 20 minutes in there. Yeah. Like, she's probably thinking I'm doing something else in there. Like, you know, if I was like, no, I was crying. And then even my coworker, she knew what I was going through. Yeah. She took me to like a room, and, you know, I let it out. So not even being able to concentrate. And I think I also lost motivation for things. Like, I want to go back to school to get my master's degree, and I totally like fell down on that, you know. So that's what depression was for me, is for me, because I still deal with it. Sure. But just not finding literally motivation in anything. Yeah.
Yeah, depression is something that I struggle with a lot, and like I said, it's like cancer for the soul. You know, mm-hmm. It's like always wanting to sleep but never feeling rested.
Yes.
You know, like you're just tired all the time. But no amount of sleep can fix that. You know, you could just stay in bed all day in a dark room with a movie on or something. And it's like you lose the joy and the passion and things that you used to really love. Like you used to be excited to go do something, and it's like you don't even want to do that anymore.
Right.
You know, and it's like you just want to be happy. You just want to feel something other than empty. You know, and it can be such a fucked up thing to deal with. And I think everybody goes through it on some level. And it's so easy to say, like, climb out of the fucking, get up and do something, you know? But like when you're in it, like when you're really depressed, like when it's fucking hitting you, it's hard to even think about the first step of like, how the fuck do I pull myself out of this, you know? And it's crazy because, you know, some people would rather choose to like end their life.
Right.
Rather than wait until the season is over, you know? Because depression for a lot of people it's like a season, you know? It comes hard, really fucking hard, you know? It feels awful. But then eventually something replaces that feeling. And usually it's happiness or joy or contentment, you know? But you gotta like find a way to get through it.
Right.
And I've found that like if you do nothing about it, if you just let it engulf everything, it'll be a long season. It could be like a very, very long one, you know? Or you can shorten it. You can make it not last as long by taking action and doing stuff about it, you know, by fighting back. And for you started fighting back.
I did.
You didn't let yourself just fucking stay stuck down with depression.
No, I mean, I definitely had my hard days, and I still do. But I think, and I really, going to work out is something that makes me happy.
That's awesome.
I have always.
That's so cool.
I know, and it's thanks to your program because, I don't know, like I know we sometimes go, oh, I don't want to go work out today, you know. Yeah. But then once you're in here, it's a blast. Like, you know, the environment is great. Yeah. You know, people are like you're pumping us up. You know, it's just something different every day. It's never the same routine. Yeah. And then not only that, but it's like, whoa, I'm able to do this. I'm able to lift this. Yeah. Something I swear I never saw myself doing any of this. Yeah. And it's like, whoa, I could do this, you know. And then there's, you know, some of the, you know, my fellow people like saying, oh my gosh, Crystal, good job, yeah. You know, or you start posting about it. So that's now what I'm noticing that's making me happy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's like, whoa, finally, like I feel like I found something to fulfill me. Yeah. And I think just you know, just saying, okay, I'm done with this. Like I'm done being sad. I'm done.
That's a huge part of it, is saying, because a lot of people, they get depressed and they're like, I'm just depressed. There's nothing I can do about it. And they take away all power that they have. But then when you say, I'm fucking done with this, I don't want to feel this anymore, I'm going to do something about it. That's when shit fucking happens. Right. You know, that's when you really fucking make a change.
And just seeing those befores and afters, you know, like, yeah, you're right. It's important to take before and after pictures. But, you know, I think I didn't see a difference once again because, you know, I always see myself. Yeah. So then when I had that Hawaii picture and then compared it to now,
it's like, wow.
It's like, whoa, this happened in a year.
Like, who dat?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's unrecognizable. Yeah. So it's something that made me super proud, and that happiness once again clicks in. So,
do you feel like it helped your confidence?
Oh yeah. I mean, I know I'm still not where I'm supposed to be, but it's, you know, yeah, like.
Well, first of all, you're not supposed to be anywhere. You're on a journey. You're gonna get there when you get there.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest key is that you're heading in that direction. You know, it's not am I where I'm supposed to be or am I not? It's am I closer or am I further from where I want to be? You know, like that's how you want to look at it, not so much just black and white. I've definitely seen your confidence has gone up a lot. You've just been had more of a glow, you know, yeah. like I've been able to notice that. And I don't see you very much. I see you in class late, always, because you show up fucking late. And I'm like, what's up, Crystal? What up, Esmeralda? She's here. They're late. Let me explain the whole workout again. But no, it's a blast, especially seeing from where you came from on that day one when you were just scared, nervous, tired as hell from the workout to now you can hang with everybody.
Yeah.
You could do it. You could do what they're doing. And you see your own changes are starting to happen.
Right.
When you don't see it daily, but you see it when you look back from Hawaii to now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's just a huge, like you said, my confidence levels have risen significantly from start to then.
Yeah. Have you been getting some more attention from the guys now, or what?
Yes. You know, when I posted my before and after on Instagram, there's people that, you know, have been DMing me and I have no idea who they are. I just say thank you. You know.
Feels good though, huh?
It feels really good, and you know, but I think in the beginning, I think I was kind of looking for validation from him.
For sure.
Because, you know, I still had him on social media, and so.
Yeah. You wanted to like show him like look what you lost.
Yeah.
Type shit.
Kind of, yeah.
Like I got fucking super fit.
Right.
And now it's like, look, you fucked up. You know.
And then my mom was like, you don't need that. Like, you do it for yourself. You don't need to be doing this for anyone else but yourself.
Yeah. You know, people say that. But I've found that some people are motivated by the painful shit and by proving other people wrong. You know? Some people are like, oh, you should have like motivation. Like, I'm going to save the world. I'm going to save all the whales, you know? And like this like happy motivation. I'm going to do it for myself. I'm going to feel good. But for me, the most motivated I've ever been is when I've been like, fuck that, I'm going to prove everybody wrong, you know?
Yeah. I still see that. I still do that myself. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
I think for myself, it's just too blah, you know? Like, it's just more of like, look at this. Like, I did this. You're missing out. Yeah. You know? It's
a good mindset, though, because it makes you fucking continuously level up. And in a way, it's almost like so that nobody can ever hurt you like that again, you know? You're like, I'm going to fucking make myself so good. I'm going to get in the best shape. I'm going to get my confidence up. I'm going to improve all these areas of my life so no one can ever say some hurtful shit like that to me again.
Right.
You know? I'm going to be the fucking best version of myself.
Right.
I'm not going to get caught slipping. Because I found that like my first relationship, I was, like I told you, I was with a girl who was older than me, right? And we broke up during like summertime for like 2 weeks. Okay. But during that 2 weeks, remember I'm 15, she like hooked up with her coworker who was like 30. So I'm 15, he's 30. And then after like a couple days after that, I found out I was heartbroken and that she wanted to get back with me. And I got back with her. Because she was my first like ever girlfriend. I was just like heartbroken. I was like, what did I do wrong? I was blaming, you know what I mean? I got back with her and it was like, I could never view her the same again. It's like we broke up for 2 weeks. But then, so I ended up breaking up with her after that. Okay. Blocked her on social media, blocked her on everything. And she kept trying to reach out to me, like even would email me and shit. And I would just go ghost. But it was like the most pain I'd ever felt, but it changed me so much, like the kind of person I became. Because before that, I was a nice guy. I was super nice. I just wanted everybody to like me. I just didn't feel very highly of myself. I didn't think I was like the shit. I didn't think I was good looking. I didn't think I was this. I felt like which also leads into making you more insecure and jealous because you think everybody else is better than you. So you just try to like protect your little ego by controlling other people, and it never works. You know what I mean? It makes them end up going off and doing other shit. But after we split, it made me say, I'm never going to feel this again. Like, I'm never going to let myself be this vulnerable and get hurt again like this if I can control it. And what I mean is this, is that, like, in my eyes, I was like, I'm going to take the blame for everything. Because a lot of people go through breakups or they go through stuff and they blame other people. It's their fault. They didn't value me, this and this and this, which could be very true. But I found what worked the best for me, that really helped me in life, is to own everything as if it's something I can control. So to me, I'm like, if I was a better man, maybe she wouldn't have left me. Or if I was in better shape, if I was a better version of myself, maybe she wouldn't have been hooked up with her coworker, because clearly she found her coworker better than me, type thing, you know? And whether it's true or not, it gave me this mindset of like, I need to level the fuck up so that if I am with a girl, there is no better option. You know what I'm saying? I am the best option. I'm going to make myself the best option, because at that point, I'm like, I'm just not good enough. I'm just not. I'm not the best looking. I'm not the tallest. I don't make the most money. I'm not the most confident. None of that stuff. I was none of those things. And I was like, I'm just not good enough, but I'm going to fucking make myself good enough, you know? And that's what I did. It was crazy. I was like fucking 15. I got super into working out. I had like an 8-pack as a sophomore. You know, I was in super good shape. And that's where all this fitness stuff started. It was born out of pain and insecurity, you know, of wanting to be a better version of myself and be liked and be respected by It didn't end up working though, because in high school, instead of being like a chick magnet, the girl said I was intimidating.
Really?
Yeah, and they said I was intimidating because I went from like this really nice guy, got his heart broken, and then I swung the opposite direction and turned into like an asshole, you know? So I looked like I was mad all the time, and I was like super buff at the time, so girls were just like, this guy's fucking scary. They're like, this dude's got a huge ego, he's like cocky and stuff. So as an adult, I've had to like find that in between of not being too much of a pushover and not being too overwhelmingly like fucking cocky and annoying, you know?
I think sometimes we girls kind of want to approach that kind of like the bad guy thing, but we are scared because we're thinking, oh, what if we get hurt by this guy?
Oh,
what
for
if
sure.
I get invested in him and he's going to turn out to be that asshole?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think what we're attracted to versus what we also want in a relationship can kind of be conflicting sometimes, you know? Like we're attracted to this guy, but this guy's gonna break our heart. But then this guy's too nice, but he probably is really awesome in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like fuck. Like there's probably nice dudes that approach you all the time. And you're just like, he's just so boring. I can't see myself being attracted to him. But he's probably very faithful, very loyal. And you see the hot guy and you're like, God, he's fucking hot. But he's probably going to cheat on me or something, you know?
I know. Isn't that suck?
It does suck. You can't get everything in everybody.
Right. So that's a thing that I think for a while I was told, oh, well, he shouldn't, you know, base it off how you look, you know? Because the truth is, in the majority of times, when you get in a relationship, there's that high chance that they're going to start gaining weight.
Oh, for sure. Relationship weight. It's very common. Everyone does it. Right.
So let's be real. You know, he wasn't the same either. Yeah. You know, he started also gaining weight.
He started getting a little chunky too.
Right. But not he's a slim guy. So, you know, but I could notice it, you know, but that wasn't going to make me go, oh, you know, you're gaining weight, so therefore I'm not attracted to you. Hell no. Like I was still attracted to him. That never changed on my side. But
you know what's interesting though is that guys and girls are so different.
I know.
Guys are visual. Like I have a lot of friends obviously, and guys are just visual. Like, you know, a lot of girls will say, you know, it shouldn't be all about the looks, but the looks come first. Like for a guy, if you look good, now he'll open the door to see if you have like a nice personality, if all these things, but you got to look good first. Girls will give a guy a chance, even if he's not the best looking, if he's like really cool as fuck, his vibe is nice. You know what I mean? There's other things that you guys value. But guys are straight visual. That's why, you know, they'll be following all the hot girls on Instagram, double tap, liking stuff, even though they're in relationships. They're just visual. And it's like, they just want a hot girl. And it's so crazy because a girl can have the worst personality, but if she's hot, you're going to go for her versus the girl with the nice personality who might just be average looking.
I have no hope.
Fucking guys, you know? But the good thing is you can always elevate. You can always increase your attractiveness. You can always, you know what I mean, make yourself badder, hotter. And, you know, I think it's an awesome thing that we do have control over a lot of shit, you know? We can work on our confidence. We can work on our looks. We can work on our our ability to speak in public or on camera.
Right.
We can work on all these things. They're all skills. I started viewing life like a video game where it's like, how can I max out all of my stats, to make sure that like what does my perfect life look like? I want to make a lot of fucking money, so I'm going to fucking work on that. I want to be in great shape. I want to have good fashion. I want to be charismatic. I want to work on all these things. Because when you start out, nobody has those things.
Right. That's true. But yeah, I think that's something I have to definitely work on, because it's not just my body, it's just really my self-esteem that's been shattered for all these years since elementary school. And now it's like, how do I achieve that? Like, how do I, because I don't know what people see in me when they first see me. I don't know what they think. I would like to know what they think about me. Like,
why does it matter though?
I don't know. Maybe because I've always cared about what people think about.
So maybe it's more of putting so much value in what others think.
Yeah. And it sucks because I shouldn't do that. I should know myself.
Sure.
So, but I do just, because there's been times where people have reached out to me when I did the anonymous questions.
Yeah.
And then, some of them said, hey, how do you, cope with anxiety? And then they actually DM'd me on the side and said, I had no idea you were going through these things.
Yeah.
You always so cheery and this and that. And I'm like, so that was like one person saying, oh, okay, like you never give off these vibes.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, this is how I deal with it. Like I go straight to music. Like I just start playing. Literally, if I go through something, I sit down on that piano and start playing.
Yeah.
Or start singing.
I mean, and when it comes to self-esteem too, it's like for me, I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I feel like if you have been working on yourself and you're the best version of yourself that you can be, how could you have low self-esteem at that point? Because you know that you're the best that you can be. You've put in the work. You can see it. So other people can see it. So at that point, it's like, if you get to a point where it's like the things that you have low self-esteem about, because we all have things that we're insecure about, right? Mm-hmm. For me, maybe it's my weight or how I speak on camera. If I work on those things and I get to a certain level where I'm like, I'm in fucking great shape, where's the self-esteem problem anymore?
It's gone.
It's gone, right? Because you've worked on yourself. I feel like the self-esteem comes in when you're not where you want to be. Like when you're not where you should be. You're not. Your money's not right. You're not in the best shape that you could be. You're being lazy, or whatever the case is. There's some insecurity that you're dealing with that you could have changed, but you haven't yet. And you feel insecure about it. But maybe other people might think a little higher of you than you do of yourself. But I think the key is to work on yourself so that you feel great about yourself.
Right.
And then the other people are going to for sure be able to see that.
Right.
You know what I mean? The more you work on yourself, the more content you become with who you are, and you don't seek the outside validation. Whenever you're comparing yourself to other people, there's a quote that says, comparison is the thief of joy. Because even if you are the best version of yourself, even if I'm fucking ripped, I'm shredded, I got the most money, I'm the best I could possibly be, there's always somebody out there who's better. Why even waste the mental energy focusing on that? Just be the best version that you can be, because that's all you can control. And I think in life, there's so many things that are out of our control that we worry about and we stress about, and it gives us anxiety, even though we can't do anything about it. Or maybe it is something that we can change, but there's nothing we could do about it right now. Like maybe you have a final next week. Why are you stressing on it right now if it's not even today? Like you'll stay up late at night stressing on something when it's like, can you do anything about it right now? No. So why even worry about it?
That's true.
Just go to bed. Deal with it when the problem comes up. Because if you live too far in the future, you'll forget to be able to be in your present. You know?
Yeah.
And that's what I found with anxiety is it's my anxiety has always come from thinking of the worst case scenarios, you know? I have like a really weird fear of death. Like I always think like if like I'll feel like a little chest pain and I'm like, I'm having a heart attack. I instantly go to like the worst case scenario. And anxiety does that, where it's like, I'll start getting anxious and then I'll start getting anxiety about having anxiety. Or I'll start getting anxiety about worrying about having anxiety, you know? And it becomes this shitty fucking loop where you're worrying about getting an anxiety attack. And then you're thinking about anxiety. So then the anxiety actually happens, you know? So it's just learning to shut your brain down, because when anxiety's popping up, it's telling you the worst case scenario.
Right.
And you're feeling it like it's actually happening, even if it's not. But if you were to just say, what if none of that actually happens? The anxiety goes away. Because, yeah, sure, you're worrying about all these things. You're worrying about going to the gym. You're getting anxiety about going to the gym, people looking at you and judging you. But what if you go and none of that happens? What's there to worry about?
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, also, like, say something happens that really upsets you. Like, say, another way I like to deal with problems is imagine that it happened 1,000 times. Here's what I mean, is that like when your boyfriend told you those really fucked up things, that was the first time you ever heard something like that, right? But if you've had that said to you 1,000 times, on the 1,000th time, would it still hurt the same way as that first time?
Absolutely not.
Because you see what I'm saying? Because you would have dealt with it, you would have processed it. It wouldn't have that same weight that it used to. So whenever something is really fucking affecting you, think about if it were to happen 1,000 times, and fast forward to how you would be feeling if it did happen that 1,000th time.
Oh, okay.
You know, like if you're in fucking traffic and you're just angry, you're like, fuck, I can't. But if every day you're in traffic, you're just like, well, this is just how it is. It just happens like this. Yeah. You just roll with it. You know, and I think a lot of times we can put on these like fronts and these. Like, let me give you an example. So when I was in high school, I got in like a lot of trouble. I told you I became a class clown, and I started bullying people, and I started getting in fights. I started like beating kids up, and I started going to jail, right? I started going to juvenile hall. And my reputation in this town became, oh, don't mess with him. He could hurt somebody. Like, don't even get near him. He might hurt you. And nobody ever asked, like nobody ever worried about somebody hurting me. And what I mean by that is did anybody ever think that maybe I got to that point because I was using that as a defense mechanism to protect myself from getting hurt? Because that's really where it came from. You know, I think a lot of people become bullies, they become fucked up, or they become assholes because they got burned when they were younger from being too nice. So they swing the opposite way. And I think for a lot of people, it's like, you know, if you do get hurt, just don't ever get bitter, and don't let it change who you are as a person. And let whatever pain you have fucking push you and motivate you to be the best that you can.
That's true.
You know? Good shit, Crystal. Good talk, my friend.
Thank you.